love into the family. He pours love into the home, so his love can overflow into the world. I want to spend my life mending broken people. I want to spend my life removing pain. Lord, let my words heal a heart that hurts. I want to spend my life mending broken people, so his love can overflow into the world.
God bless you. Welcome back, and thanks again for joining us for another 3ABN Presents program. You guessed it. My friend Barbara Kerr is back, and we are heading to the 3ABN kitchen today. And just before we went on the program, my eyes landed on this text, and I thought, boy, this is a text that really describes Barbara Kerr's ministry to a T. And it's found in Nehemiah chapter 8, verse 10, and it says, "Send portions unto them for whom nothing is prepared." And actually, the way I read this text is, Barbara Kerr sends portions for those of us who don't have any idea what to make for supper. Barb has a terrific ministry of creating recipes that are not only healthy for you, but they taste good too. And she has created quite a Mexican meal for us today. Her recipes include tamales, Mexican salsa, corn tortillas, sopas, I hope I said that right, refried beans, Jicama salad, and rice pudding. You know, I don't speak Spanish that well, but I'm sure that she's going to give us the correct pronunciation in a short while. But right off the top of the program, I'd like to invite you to get your pencils, get your pens, get your paper, and get ready to write down these recipes. And if you're not able to write them down, check out our website or call us here at Three Angels Broadcasting, and we will be more than happy to send these recipes to you. And we are so looking forward to going to the kitchen because, you know, I enjoy it not only because Barbara's actually teaching me to be a much better cook than I've ever been in my entire life, but also because, you know, it's a time for friends. It's a time to really let down your hair, and we really want to share not only the recipes through this program, but we really want to let you know that we consider you our friends, and we're thankful that you spend the time with us in the 3ABN kitchen. I have a little story that I'd like to share with you today. It's one of my favorites, but there was once a king who placed a big heavy stone in the road, and then he hid behind a bush, and he watched to see what would happen. And many people from all walks of life came and kind of just maneuvered around it, but it seemed that no one wanted to get the stone out of the way. And many would complain and say, you know, that king should really work harder at keeping these highways clear. But everyone that passed didn't even think about doing anything about it themselves. But finally, a poor peasant came by, and he was pulling a cart that was filled with vegetables that he was going to sell at the market. But when he saw the stone, he thought, you know, this stone could hurt somebody. So I'm just going to stop, and I'm going to move it out of the way. So he parked his heavy cart, and then he pulled and he heaved until the stone rolled away out of the road. And then, as he turned back to his cart, something caught his eye. There was something lodged in the depression in the road where the big stone used to be. And he looked a little closer, and he saw it was a bag. And inside the bag was enough gold to support him and his family for a long, long time. You know, today, there are all kinds of stones in the road, so to speak, only they really come in the form of people. There are lonely people who need someone to just be a friend to them. And then there are the sick and the shut-in people that need someone to visit them. And then there are the discouraged and the depressed people who really need an encouraging word. And then there are the broken people who are just all over the place. They're all around us, and they need a lot of love. And each one of us has something that we can give. But getting back to our Persian fable, do you remember how the man, when he moved the rock, that he found the gold underneath? Well, the same holds true when we reach out to someone who needs it. The blessing always comes back to us. And really, that's not blowing smoke either. That is the truth. Think about it. You know, the time of year that I think is the happiest has to be the Christmas season, because around this time of year, everything, it just seems so different and so special, and it's not because of the sleigh bells. And really, when you think about it, the truth of the matter is it's because people's minds are focused on bringing happiness to others. But we can take the same giving principle and make it a part of our lives all year round. Literally, we can have that same spirit of Christmas all year round and reap the joy and the happiness that comes with it. And that's why Jesus said in Matthew chapter 25, verse 40, "Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as you have done it," speaking of reaching out, "unto one of the least of these my brethren, you have done it unto me." And I know you've probably heard and experienced already that we can't outgive the Lord. When we try to please Him, He always pleases us more. And when we reach out to the people around us that He loves so much, He always reaches out to us in super abundant ways. And if you've been wondering why Barbara Kerr is so happy all the time, I just blew the whistle on her. But she's one of those kind of people who take the time to get the stones out of the middle of the road. Only her ministry is unique because I think she specializes in getting the stones out of our kitchens and off of our dining room tables. The Lord has really given her a ministry of just down-home good cooking that's good to the taste buds and very good for the health of your body. And what I really appreciate about the recipes that she prepares is it makes for a good foundation. It makes for a great platform for ministry, because I think there is more ministry that can happen over a dining room table or a kitchen table than probably any other place in the world. It's the best, I think, environment for an evangelistic service than any other place in the world. Well, before we head to the kitchen, let's go to the Lord in prayer. Father, I just want to thank you and praise you once again for your counsel that really shows us how we can be happy people, that really shows us how we can live to be the people that you've created us to be. And I pray, Father, that we will be the kind of people that when we see those stones in the road, when we see the problems, when we see the people who are hurting, Lord, that we won't pass by on the other side, but we will be the ones that reach out. We will be the ones that allow your Holy Spirit to use our hands, to use our feet, to use the words that we have. And I just pray today, Lord, for that brother, for that sister who is watching this program today, that you will help them to reach out to the people around them. You have given them a circle of influence, Lord, that no one else has, and I pray that they will use it to your honor and to your glory, because we know, Lord, that you're coming as soon, and what we do for you, we must do right now. All these things, Lord, we pray in the name of Jesus with thanksgiving. Amen. Well, right now, Emily Feltz Jones, she is a terrific songwriter. She's from Goodlettsville, Tennessee, which I think is a suburb of Nashville. Right now she's going to sing a song that she has written, a beautiful song that's entitled Consider Me. So come on into our living room and listen to this song.
Lord, just today I heard the sound of someone crying who's never felt your healing touch. And I just want to try and reach that someone somehow, to tell them that they're loved so much. My only hope is that you'll find some way to give this willing heart a part to play. Consider me when you need a hand to touch a tearful face. Consider me when you need to be to finish out the race. Consider me when you need a voice to sing your amazing grace. There's so much left to do, and there's one thing I ask of you. When it's time for you to choose, consider me. Every day people stumble over broken hearts, and they go on, they just don't see. But everywhere I look, the faces of those shattered lives are all that's looking back at me. And I want to make a difference where I am. And if you believe in me, I know I can. Consider me when you need a hand to touch a tearful face. Consider me when you need to be to finish out the race. When you need a voice to sing your amazing grace. There's so much left to do, and there's one thing I ask of you. When it's time for you to choose, consider me. There may be others who can give you things that I can't give, but I will offer all I have, the very life I live. Consider me when you need a hand to touch a tearful face. Consider me when you need to be to finish out the race. When you need a voice to sing of your amazing grace. There's so much left to do, and there's one thing I ask of you. When it's time for you to choose, consider me.
Welcome back to the 3ABN Kitchen, and welcome back, Barb.
Thank you. Good to see you.
It's good to see you, too. And I do want to thank you for the card and for the gift.
You're welcome.
I tell you, this girl spoils me so bad. But I have to read to you the card that she gave me, and it says, a friend. A friend is a crutch when you've sprained your big toe. A friend is the mulch that makes conversation grow. But most of all, a friend is there when you've tucked your skirt in your underwear.
That is the kind of friend you are, Linda.
Oh.
Especially when you work on camera, you have to make those things are very important.
That's true.
So,
absolutely. Well,
I'm glad
thank you so
liked
much.
it.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I'll have to get you back.
Okay, good. I'll look forward to that.
Turnabout's fair play.
Okay, good deal.
Well, give me an update on your life. I haven't seen you in a bit.
Oh, so much is happening faster and faster all the time. Pacific Press called me, and they asked if they could take my cookbook and turn it into a cookbook for the Mega Book program.
That's awesome.
And this means now that it has a different cover, but it's the same cookbook that I currently have. You can see it there on the screen. So if you have someone come knocking on your door this summer and you see this book, it is my cookbook, just done in a different version, and they've got 25,000 copies out there ready to go door to door with pull-out cards in the back for Bible studies, and so it's going to be really used as an evangelistic tool, and I am just like, thank you, God. It is so cool. So,
that is so awesome. I mean, that cookbook is going to be out there.
it is, and it's just going to be, I mean, to me that is a direct answer to prayer, because I really wanted God to be able to use it not just to help people be healthier, but I really wanted it to be used to change people's lives spiritually, and I think that this is an answer to prayer.
It certainly is.
Really excited about that.
That's awesome.
And something else that I just got back from doing, I flew out to California. You know Bill Becker and his family from the Bill's Best Chickenish Seasoning and all those. They asked me if I would come out and help them tape an infomercial to promote their seasonings. And so I did that, and I have some pictures that I brought with me to show you. And we had a great time. This is with Janice and Bill Becker and Arlene, the two daughters. And then you can kind of see Pamela Carter in that frame. And Pamela, do you remember Linda Carter?
Sure.
From Wonder Woman?
Yes.
This is her sister Pamela, and Pamela and her husband have been in ministry for about 25 years, and they work with Trinity Broadcasting Network. And she was the hostess for this, and she was a wonderful person, and it was just, we had a fabulous time.
Good.
And this is Jessie pinning the mic on. Everybody was a little bit nervous. We used a beautiful home in Paradise, California. And I actually made my hors d'oeuvre of the little veggie stuffed zucchini rounds. That's the word I'm looking for. And there I am dishing up some lasagna and that. And so I did a little food demo and gave a testimonial, which is the picture that you see there. And Janice, and then the lady sitting next to me was the producer. Her and her husband produced the infomercial. And so
that must have been a lot of fun.
It was fun. It was more fun than I thought it was going to be, but everybody, the crew they only work with Christians, and I thought that was so neat. We had prayer before we started, and it's just like it is here, and it was a lot of fun. And I just hope all the best for the Bill's Best Company and the seasonings, and they'll start airing that through California and Arizona probably later this summer.
That's terrific.
So
you know, I use Bill's Best all the time. It's a terrific
We'll be
product.
using it today.
All right.
So
all right.
Today we are honoring Mexico, and we have some wonderful recipes for you. As you can see this country here. Have you been to Mexico, Linda?
I've never, yes I have. In fact, many years ago, I went to Tijuana.
I've been to Tijuana when I was a young girl, maybe 10 or 11.
Yeah, just kind of walked over the border and went shopping and came back, but that's been my only experience in Mexico.
Well, you'll have to go to Cancun sometime too. Bill and I went there on vacation it's been about 4 years now, but we really enjoyed it. It was beautiful. Best snorkeling I've ever done was in Cancun. So, but I love Mexican food, and
me too. Of course, you know, I don't think I've ever tasted something that you've created that I haven't liked yet.
But you really like just about everything. I mean, you're one of those people that doesn't have very many foods that you don't like, and so that makes you really easy in the kitchen, and so it's very nice. I appreciate that. But you know, for Mexican food, the thing that was confusing to me is what's the difference between Mexican food, Puerto Rican food, Cuban food, Ecuadorian food, and there's little differences, and so I've had some people help explain it to me, and basically all of the food falls under the umbrella of being Spanish food. And then from there you have little differences. For instance, Puerto Rican food, they use more black beans and yellow rice, and Cubans do that too. Some countries will use more cilantro, others won't, and so everyone has their little differences. And I think that here in America, for instance, taco salad, that's not Mexican at all, but yet we have Americanized Mexican food, so that's like a twist that they don't make taco salads per se. That's our own version. So we're going to try and do some authentic Mexican food today. We're going to start by making a Mexican salsa. Let me read those ingredients for you now. You're going to need 1/8 cup cilantro, 1 small serrano chili, top removed, 1 small to medium onion quartered, 1 28-ounce can of peeled and diced tomatoes, 2 medium cloves of garlic, and 3/4 teaspoon salt or to taste.
You know, Barb, tell me something. When I go to the grocery store, and maybe it's just this particular grocery store, they have like the jalapenos, the chilies. They're all, you know, kind of in a basket together, and I can't tell the difference. I couldn't tell you the difference between a serrano chili and a jalapeno.
Well, this is a serrano chili. As you can see, it's a smaller,
Does it make a big
narrower
difference if you get one of these or get a jalapeno?
There's different heat levels in chili, and I think
this is hotter?
I think this is hotter, actually, than a jalapeno. And so each one, they have it on scales that go way up to a heat level. And, I mean, I'm not a big heat person. I like a little, especially if I like a little zip, but the original recipe called for 2 of these, and I said, let's cut it in half. So we made it a little more to my liking, and Mexican people are going to make it, or anyone that likes spicy food is going to make it as spicy as they want. So. We're just going to throw these in the blender. And chilies, I mean, there's tons of chilies, Linda, all different kinds, and you really have to study them to find out, you know, the difference. But the jalapeno is probably the most popular here in the United States and what we would use more often. But you want to be careful handling chilies. We didn't have to cut this one open. We're leaving the seeds in and everything, and you can just throw this right in the blender just like that. I just
can you do that? You can't do that with jalapenos.
You can. When you add the seeds, it makes it hotter. So a lot of times if you want to save on the heat, you just will slice it open, take the seeds out, scrape them out, and then use it however you're going to use it. When we're going to be using some chilies in our next program.
All right.
So just toss that in there.
Okay, this will clean out the arteries.
That's right. 2 cloves of garlic. And we've got, actually, well, let's wait on that. Let's put our onion in. I've just quartered it. And this one I don't want to slop on you.
Yes.
That's kind of full.
I'll back up since I'm wearing white.
See if I can get it in. Should have left it in the can, I think.
Okay.
I didn't make too big of a mess.
You didn't do too bad.
Still just a little.
Let's see, I've got a little right here.
And then our cilantro, 1/8 cup. And we have 3/4 teaspoon of salt. And it's really not the same without the cilantro in it. So
I love the flavor of cilantro.
You can add
And actually, I've just recently discovered it because growing up in Wisconsin, you know, I'd never heard of it, and my mom never cooked with it.
We never cooked with cilantro either, but I love it. Go ahead and liquefy that.
How's that?
Let's make it just a little more liquid. You could, here, let me give you this.
It kind of splashed a little.
Did it?
Okay, I'm going to use this right here. Okay.
Good. Now we're going to use the salsa in several of our recipes that we make today. So you're welcome to taste it now, but we need our blue chips.
Okay. Well, should we set it aside and move on to our next recipe?
We can go right into our tamales.
Then we could maybe try it in a recipe later or something.
And next we're going to make our tamales, and I'll read those ingredients for you now. You're going to need 2 cups of masa harina, 1/2 cup rice flour, 1 cup plus 6 tablespoons water, 1 1/2 teaspoon Bill's Best chickenish seasoning, 3/4 teaspoon salt. You'll need 1/2 cup Earth Balance margarine and corn husks that you've soaked in water for about 2 hours. So, now for the filling, you're going to need a cup of peas, 1/2 cup Mexican salsa that we just made. And for cheese, an alternative to cheese, we're going to put in 1/2 pound extra firm tofu, 1/2 cup of veggies, and 1 tablespoon of Bill's Best chickenish seasoning. So it's actually in this recipe 2 times. Now, I want to start with our filling, and we're going to use a cup of peas. I've just used some frozen baby peas. And we need our salsa. And you want to use about double the peas as the salsa. So we just want it a little bit liquid. We don't want it too watery. And we'll let that cook down, and some of the water will evaporate. You can set that aside. So we'll let that simmer. It already smells good. And in a minute, I'll have you make the cheese, but we'll go ahead and let's start the dough first. And for that, you're going to start with your margarine. Now, the traditional recipe calls for Crisco. And I was told that, you know, because Crisco, you know, is not a health food.
No.
I was pretty sure that I could make this recipe without Crisco, and have done it successfully with the Earth Balance margarine. And when asked about the improvement, you know, trying to improve it, they said, well, you know, we're not using lard anymore. So it's taking it step by step. And so now we're taking it one more step to Earth Balance margarine.
That's right.
No hydrogenated fats in here. So I'm going to have you alternate the dry. So go ahead and put all the salt in. We'll start with that. Stomp it right on there. And I'll give you this and the whisk, because the Bill's Best tends to settle to the bottom of that, and every once in a while you can give it a little stir. Give me a little bit of the flour first. Masa harina is just basically, that's good, corn flour. And you can find this at many grocery stores. Go ahead and give me some of the rice flour. Okay, that's 2 cups of the masa and 1/2 cup of rice flour, and go ahead and, that's good. Go ahead. You're a professional.
I've been in the kitchen before.
And we've heated the water so that it will keep this dough softer and more pliable and easier to work with longer. And I would just like to, at this time, say a very big thank you to 2 people that have, well, actually 3 people that have helped me a lot on this program. One is Lucy. Lucy is the mother of Nicole Garcia. She lives out in California, and she very willingly emailed me recipes when I was doing for this program. So thank you, Lucy, very much. Thank you, Nicole, for helping me this morning. And I'd like to thank Belinda Bartling, who is a lady from our church. She's Mexican, and she came over and helped me have a hands-on experience to make tamales and all of these recipes. So without them, I would have been sunk.
Boy, you know, now I can smell the corn tortilla. It just has a smell about it.
Now, Belinda told me that a lot of times they'll take this dough, let's see, get it out of the beaters. Okay. They'll take this dough and she'll actually take a pinch of it and they'll drop it in water and see if it floats to see if there's enough fat in it. So I also cut the fat down in this recipe. So we're going to, let me just sit these under here and we'll take care of them later. But I'll show you how to make our, let's make our cheese first so we have all of the filling ingredients. Take your tofu and just crumble that and smush it up. You can use your hands, smush it up really good. And I was told that if a recipe calls for using your hands, it's Mexican, and it's easier, use your hands. So I'm giving you permission.
Well, you know, in Bible times, there was no such thing as utensils. People ate with their fingers. And so...
You think so?
Well,
I never imagined
I
that.
actually did some research on it when I was doing the Catch the Vision magazine, because I put some Bible recipes in there. And from everything that I found on the internet, you know, that's what they have discovered. I don't know, maybe archaeologists know these things, right?
Hey, they use their hands a lot. Okay, now that was our ½ pound of tofu.
Okay.
And go ahead and you put in our ½ cup of veggies and 1 tablespoon of the Bill's Best.
You know, my husband and I both feel that anything with veggies always tastes good.
It's the fat in there.
It's, well, I mean, it's better than mayonnaise.
It is much better than mayonnaise.
It has a terrific taste to it.
It really does.
Okay, and then we have the Bill's Best that we couldn't possibly do without.
And you know, this is basically just a version of their recipe for their chickenish sandwich spread, but I used this in my lasagnas in place of cheese, so I knew it would work well in the tamale recipe. So that is what I've done. And we will just use that. Now this is definitely a, okay, got that mixed up good? Okay, just leave that spoon in there. Now, what you're going to do is take your corn husks that you have soaked for 2 hours at least. You can speed that up by soaking them in hot water if you're running out of time. You want to then rinse them so that they're clean. And then, Linda, you want to be putting the tamale mixture on the shiny side or the inside. And if you're not sure, there's veins and it's very kind of rough on the outside. And
now, where do you buy something like this?
You know, they have them at the supermarket right over where they keep the chilies a lot of times. And
really?
Sometimes they're hanging on those racks with the specialty items like pine nuts and, you know, things like that. And there they are, big as life. Or in the Mexican section next to the salsas and different things like that. So, now there are many different ways to do this, and I realize that. So, even as I've talked to different Mexican people, they all have a different way to do tamale. So I'm just going to show you the way I was taught, and then if you have a different version, go right ahead. So what we're going to do is take a spoonful of this dough, which is soft, and I find easier, get this out of the way, to just use my fingers and press this down. Okay, you're kind of making a little blanket for your filling. Then we take our, now you can use many different kinds of fillings. You can use a vegetarian meat and a chili sauce. You can, you're going to put this right down the center. You can use beans in place of this.
You know, those look like baby peas.
Yes, they are the babies. I got the babies. And then on top of that, I'm just going to put a little spoon of, like, what we would use for cheese. Yeah, our tofu. Now on this, you're going to wrap, this is being wrapped like a blanket, okay? And you can just wrap this on up, and then where this edge ends, you take it and fold it under, which will seal it. There is no need to tie this with other strips. And then you need a pan. We have a pan here that has a deep steamer basket, okay? And then you'll just take this and stand it up, okay? Or let me put this here, maybe it'd be easier to see. And then as you fill your tamales, you'll stand them all in there, heat your water, and then cover the tamales that you have finished with extra corn husks, you know, on top, kind of tuck them in around the sides to give the, you know, to hold that moisture in. And then you want to steam them for 1 hour. And then when you take them out, I have some that are finished, okay? That are right here. They're already over here, Linda. And let's just pick one here. You can see when you open this tamale, okay, the dough is firmed up. It's a little blanket, and you serve it this way in the corn husks. And this is a traditional Christmas dinner. So it's not Christmas time now, but it's used for holidays, and this is not what they would consider an everyday food. They make this for special occasions. They are a lot of work, and although I found them kind of fun, I didn't think it was too terribly difficult. And you can make sweet tamales too by using, instead of the chickenish water that we used, you can use pineapple juice and then add crushed pineapple and sugar to taste, and make them sweet. I ran out of time today, or I would have made you some sweet ones too.
Oh, well, let me give one a try.
Okay.
These are so different.
Yes, they're very good.
I don't think I've ever
Now,
had one before.
You don't eat the corn husk. You have to take it out and you just eat that center part.
Well, I'm glad you're informing me of this. That almost made it to my mouth.
Well,
so you do not eat the corn husk?
no, that's just, and you can actually reuse the corn husks. So they can be used again, rinsed off, and use them. But you just serve them like that.
That is so good.
Isn't that nice?
You know, it's almost like a noodle.
Oh, okay, like pasta?
Like pasta.
Made with the corn.
But it's very good.
And this is probably more bland. You could actually add more salt if you wanted to the dough. It just really, some people want it totally saltless, and then other people want it salted. So I kind of found a medium in there and did it. But I really like the tamales, and I'm in love with this recipe.
Oh, it's so good. Well, John, do you have a sound for us?
That's our Mexican hat dance.
It's a winner. It's a winner. What's coming up next?
We're going to make for you corn tortillas from scratch. And those ingredients are simple. Would you like to read them for us, Linda?
My mouth is full.
Okay, I'll read them. We're going to need 2 cups of the masa harina, and we'll need 1 1/4 cups water, more or less, and 3/4 teaspoons salt, and this is optional. Now we only have a few ingredients, Linda, and we're going to start with 2 cups of masa and 3/4 teaspoon salt, and you can show them.
This is what masa looks like on your shelf at the grocery store. Yes.
It helps when you know what you're looking for.
Oh, that's for sure. You know, because it might be in a round carton, a square carton, a tub, but it's in a bag.
Now, this is a finger recipe. Now, I'm using 1 1/4 cups of water and going to mix this in with your hands. And this might be more or less depending on how humid. I know you're dying to get in here. Okay, we are going to make these corn tortillas. So good. And we're also going to use this recipe. I'll show you how to make a few, but we're going to save this for our sopes, and I'll show you how to make those in a little bit.
And if people are running a little bit short on time, they could go to the grocery store and buy the tortillas already made, huh?
No, this is much more fun. You know, those tortillas have a little bit of preservative in them.
Do they really?
And you can taste it. Yeah, just a little. This is better. Now,
of course, you have a connoisseur gourmet tongue. You taste things that I never taste.
No, I don't know about
Once again, I will mention you have to go out to eat with this woman, because whatever she orders, she analyzes. She'll say that there's a dash of lemon juice and just a tad bit of basil.
Now, Linda, you're telling all my secrets, and
very,
my face is red.
You're very good at that, though.
Let me change the subject. This is a tortilla press, and it's very weighty. I don't know if you tried to lift it, but you can't make tortillas without this.
Do you know, if you didn't tell me what it was, I would have never guessed what it was.
It's an amazing tool, and without it, now there might be someone that can make these without it. I'm certain there probably are. I'm not one of them. So what you need, though, is any kind of a Ziploc or gallon-sized baggie, or you can use wax paper. And you want to cut 3 sides off and line this. Now you're going to make small, kind of maybe 1/4 cup size.
Snowball size.
Yeah, a little bit big. Anyways, you put that right in there. If you don't line it with plastic, you'll be sorry. And then you just bring this handle down on it. If you smash it too much, and I'm still trying to get the feel of it, isn't that beautiful?
That is perfect.
Then you peel this up. It's actually just a little bit thick. You take it just like this and put it right into your medium hot skillet. Oh. Okay. Now I want you to do this. Go ahead and line that again. I'll make you a little ball of the cornmeal.
I'm sure everybody is asking, where can I get one of these?
Okay, here we go. You can buy those at at a Mexican store. I've not seen this at the supermarket. Maybe in California it would be a little easy, you know, you
more
could find
common.
them, yeah,
Right.
places.
Or on the internet, I'm sure.
Yeah. If you smash it too much, you make them too thin. It's kind of a fine, looks
How
very
did I
good.
do?
You get an A+.
You know, this is my first tortilla I've ever made.
Now, when you put them in the pan, you want to cook them in a dry skillet, all right? And you're going to flip them 3 times.
Okay.
You look for them to dry out, and after they begin drying out, you turn them the first time, and then when you go to make them, when they look like they're drying from the other side, kind of when you watch a pancake, you know how it bubbles and you know when the edges start to get dry. And then the last time you're letting it brown just a little bit around the edges. And I have a bunch of finished ones over here that I've made for you earlier, Linda. So I was slaving over the stove. And really, you know, it doesn't take too long. They're still soft and pliable. You can warm them up. And as a matter of fact, when I was making these with Belinda, when it came hot out of the pan, she said, "You want to try one of these?" And I'm like, okay. So she just sprinkled a little salt on it. She actually squeezed it with her hand and kind of turned it over and then just gave it to me like that to eat as a way, you know, that they also will eat their corn tortillas. So anyways, it was it was fun. This was a great
These
learning.
look like professional tortillas.
Thank you. Thank you. They were a lot of fun. Let's go on to our refried beans, and then we will come back because we're going to continue the same recipe when we go to make the sopes because we use the same dough, only we make it thicker. And I'll just cover that, and then we will move on to the refried beans. Go ahead, Linda.
Okay, you will need 3 cups of pinto beans, 9 to 10 cups of water, 3 to 4 large cloves of garlic peeled and smashed with a knife, 1/2 medium onion cut in half, 2 teaspoons of salt or to taste.
Now, we've already gone ahead and cooked the beans, and I actually soaked them overnight so that it would take less time today. And on the water, you're always, as they're cooking down, Linda, going to add a little more water, and then, you know, salt to taste. I put 2 teaspoons in this, and we're just going to turn them into
mush.
Yeah. Now you can serve them just like that. It's kind of 50-50, but usually beans are served at several of the meals, and we're going to use this as one of the toppings on our sopes. So we want to have this mashed. And if you want to get more of the gas out of the beans, you can bring them to a boil by themselves without putting the onion and garlic in. And then when it gets a little foamy on top, discard that water and then start again. And then add your garlic and onions and seasonings at that point. And then this is the way you make. Now I do not add oil to my refried beans,
just beans.
Just beans. And we're also going to make, now this would take a little more mashing, but I want to go ahead and have you make up just an avocado, like a guacamole, which is very simple. Our avocado is very ripe. You can just spoon that out. Now I don't have a recipe to put up, but this is very simple. You're just going to use avocado and a squeeze of lime or lemon. We're going to use lime today. Sprinkle it with some salt. We're going to add a pinch or 2 of cilantro.
Now it's helpful that you have a ripe avocado, otherwise this could be a very painful experience.
Now avocados have an oily season and a watery season, and every 3 months that season switches. And so if you buy it at a time of the year where you know it feels ripe, but it tastes really watery and it's more of, I think, a grass kind of a taste to it, then you know that's the watery season. It doesn't mean that it's not ripe. You just happen to catch it at that point in time. Then there's an oily time which is when I like them, when they are with that texture, and they're more creamy and delicious, and that's my favorite. And I think we've caught them on the oily season.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Just sprinkle some salt in there and throw in a couple pinches of cilantro, and that's all we need for our guacamole. And you can add whatever, a little diced onion, a little, Very good.
Well, the
It wasn't coming out very fast.
No, it wasn't coming out.
Just a little. Oh, you don't need all of that. We're going to put a little bit on our soap base. Let's save some.
All right.
There you go. Give it a little flavor. And now we're going to go right on to our next recipe, which is the soap base. And let me read the those ingredients for you now. You're going to need 1 recipe of the corn tortillas, adding 3/4 of a teaspoon salt to dough, 2 cups of boiled potatoes, peeled and diced, 1 cup Mexican salsa, and salt to taste. Now we're going to reuse our filling for the tortillas, and I've just kept it moist by putting a damp paper towel over it, which is what you want to do. But on the soap base, you're going to use more dough. You want these to be a little bit thicker, okay? And you just press this into a round.
Kind of more like a biscuit rather than a pancake, huh?
Yeah, there you go. Okay, and you want them to be about 2.5, 3 inches in diameter, but you don't want to get them too thick. And so we're just going to put this into a medium skillet. I have put a couple in here already because I want them to start to cook. They take a while to cook through, and then I want to show you how. We'll let these continue to cook for a few more minutes, and I'll show you how to form the little cup. The filling is just the potato and some of that salsa we made earlier, and then just stir that up with a spoon, Linda. Let me give you that. I know it's a little one, but I'm sure you can manage.
Yes.
And this is one of the fillings that you can use. And you can really put anything in these. They are fabulous.
Oh, you could use rice. Of course, we have the beans and any type of vegetable.
The sky's the limit. Okay, let's take our plate of soap base. And what I've done while they're hot.
These are so cute. They look like little tarts.
Yes, you just pull them, you know, while they're hot, so you have to be careful to work with them. I just pull up the edges and form a little basket. And then you can take a little bit of the potato filling, and I want a little bit of the cheese on here, and a little bit of shredded lettuce. Okay, and you could put a little dab of guacamole if you wanted to. And then you have a great little, like a Mexican pie almost.
It's so cute.
Okay, now you make one and do refried beans, and I think probably some of our cheese mixture, lettuce, oh, and cilantro. I have to have just a touch of cilantro on mine.
I think I'll go for the cilantro too.
They are so good. Now I think these might be ready for me. This one looks like it's kind of ready. Be careful, it could start out like a haystack. Bigger and bigger.
Bigger and bigger.
That looks delicious.
Oh, it does.
Let me show you what I've...
I'm going to give this a try, okay?
Are you? Yeah, go on.
John, are you ready?
Oh, it must be heavenly.
It is heavenly. That's very good.
Oh, thank you. Take this and put it on a surface, and then with a paper towel to save the tips of my fingers. I did this earlier out of desperation and found that it works quite well. And then you can kind of pull that
very good idea.
Because otherwise it's really hot on your fingers. And then you can just put it on a little cooling rack, and then there you have
It's ready to go.
soap base. Now what we have left is a jicama salad and a rice pudding. And let's put the ingredients up for the salad now. Would you like to read that for us, Linda?
I would love to.
Thank you.
You will need 1 jicama, peeled, cut in half, and sliced 1/8 inch thick. And Barb, I'd sure like to know where to find a jicama.
Okay.
Also, you'll need 1 lime, some salt, and 6 thin bell pepper strips. Also some chopped peanuts for garnish.
And that's it. Very simple. Now, we've taken the jicama. Let's show what a jicama looks like for those that are not familiar with it. It's a big brown tuber. Kind of looks like a potato, sort of.
I went out and pick-a-mud, hick-a-mud.
You did.
Anyway, but where did I pick-a-mud?
I think you got it out of the basket right next to the chilies.
Oh, okay. Is that where you find it, really?
Yeah, you can find it in that section with the ginger if they have it in stock. And it tastes, you eat it, I like to eat it raw.
Is this like in the turnip family or the potato family?
It tastes like a cross between a potato and a water chestnut. It has a sweet flavor. Here, take a little.
Okay.
Don't mind my fingers. Very tasty.
It's very good.
So
Yeah.
all you need
You're
to
right,
do,
it does have a water chestnut
yeah,
taste.
it kind of gives you that. Just find something that will slice it thinly. Okay. I love that.
Now, where did you always have these devices that I've never seen before.
Really? That, of course, is Pampered Chef, my favorite. Now, all we need is lime and salt. And you're going to squeeze lime around. This is a salad that's layered. Let me try not to get that on you. Okay, you sprinkle the salt, okay? And then you layer another layer. And you build the salad up. You can go ahead and do salt again.
We're really not sprinkling that much salt. It's actually
stuck.
clogged.
Yeah.
Because actually you want to go light on the salt.
Right.
And actually if you do use salt, you want to use sea salt.
Yes, that's more minerals. Okay, now we're going to garnish with a little bit of green pepper wedges. And just do that without. And you can take our little whippy dippy chopper and just, it's got the nuts in it. Go ahead and just chop it so they're coarse. It's probably good. And just sprinkle those right on top here, and that's all you need. But isn't that a pretty salad?
That is
I like
beautiful.
that. Now all we have left is our rice pudding.
Okay.
Let's read those ingredients for you now. You're going to need 1 cup of rice, 2 1/2 cups silk soy milk, vanilla flavored, a pinch of salt, a 1/4 cup milled cane sugar, 1/2 teaspoon pure vanilla, and 2 3-inch cinnamon sticks. This is simple, Linda. Let's just pour our silk milk right into here, our saucepan. You can add all the rest of our ingredients.
You know, rice pudding is not good for just a dessert, but it's good for breakfast too.
Oh yeah,
It's terrific.
You don't happen to like rice pudding? Go
I
ahead,
love
you can
rice pudding.
stir in our other ingredients. We have a 1/4 cup milled cane and a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, an actual pinch of salt. Only
this really is a pinch too, and the static electricity is not helping.
and then 2 3-inch cinnamon sticks, and you want to just get those in there, cover it, bring it to a boil, turn it down, let it simmer for 20 to 25 minutes, and then if you need to add a touch more of soy milk to it, you can. And we have some finished here that is, I'm sure, something you want to taste.
I had better taste this.
I like rice pudding. Very good.
That is super. It really is.
I like it.
You outdid yourself once again.
Well, thank you. I could not have done it without all the help. So.
Well, they say finger looking good. It's terrific.
Great, thank you.
Well, we appreciate all the hard work that you put into these programs. And, you know, Barb, I don't think people realize what a busy schedule that you have. You have a lot of speaking engagements. You're putting together another cookbook, and always working so hard. And I just want to say thank you so much on behalf of all of our viewers and us here at 3ABN for all your hard work.
Thank you. You're very welcome. And thank you for that nice thing you said in the open about the stones. That was very sweet. Rolling the stones away.
Well, right now we're going to put your address up on the screen.
Okay.
And for those of you who would like to contact Barbara and just say thank you, Barbara, for being on the 3ABN Presents programs and sharing all these recipes. We know it takes a lot of work. You can write to Barbara Kerr at Taste of Health Ministries, P.O. Box 38, Gaston, South Carolina, 29053. Or you can call her, not at 3 o'clock in the morning, right, Barb?
That's right.
At 803-936-1714. Or you can contact her on the web, www.tasteofhealth.com. 3abnradio.net. We just have 2 minutes left here, but tell us just very quickly as a matter of information about your programs on 3ABN Radio.
Oh, okay. The 3ABN radio programs air weekly, and they're 15-minute programs, and they are, I love coming up here to tape radio for you. And they're just little cooking and health segments, so if you're interested in having a cooking demonstration on radio, be sure to tune in to 3ABN Radio.
It's
Taste
quite comical to actually watch you do the radio programs, because Claudia does the sound effects.
Yes, she does.
And she does them very well.
That's her gift. But you know, it's a little disappointing at the end because there's actually not real food. You know, we've been making sounds, unlike here where we get to dig in and eat this.
Right.
Radio, you know, you just have the leftovers of, you know, the sound effects. So
right.
I like this one. This is more fun, more satisfying at the end.
Yeah.
But they're wonderful programs, and thank you for the opportunity to do that.
Well, it's a great witness over the airwaves, and I tell you, the Lord is just opening up the doors for 3ABN Radio to go literally into all the world. So much interest. Well, once again, we want to thank you for all of these beautiful Mexican dishes.
And I would like to thank once again Lucy Garcia and Belinda Bartling and Lucy's daughter, Nicole, and for helping. I could not have put this program together without you, so thank you very much.
And once again, we just want to urge you to use these recipes, invite people over to your home, and use them as a foundation to share Christ. And you know, Barb, I don't know a lot of Spanish, but I do know adios amigos.
And hasta mañana.
And until next time, may the Lord richly bless you abundantly more than you could ever ask or think.
Thank you for being our family.
Thank you for being our friends.
May God bless